hand of protection on our police, our fire, our service, our school system, and our administration. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, Denise, please do not sit down. Can you please come up and, for the one and final time, call the roll?
Because I don't think I can remember names right now.
That's awesome.
Okay. Mr. Smolik,
Here.
Ms. Simons, Mr. Ziegler,
Here.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Here.
Mr. Hamer,
Here.
Mr. Scholes,
Here.
Ms. Grazia.
Here.
Thank you. You guys on TV, you know?
Thanks for everything.
Yeah.
Isn't Big Bang Theory on at the same time? Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can use this.
So I don't think anybody here doesn't know Ms. Raleigh. I got to know Denise, I guess, more than 10 years ago, starting to come to city council meetings and began my quest to enter into the realm of city government. Once elected to city council, myself and Mr. Smolik, you know, being the new guys on council, you know, you picked up right away that Denise Raleigh not only did her job well, but knew everything. I know she doesn't like when we say that, but Denise knows everything. You don't find a more committed and dedicated employee than Denise Raleigh. 45 years, almost 46 years, somebody worked on behalf of the city of Kirtland for all of us and got the job done. Beyond well is an understatement. There's not a person in this room that hasn't worked with Denise in some capacity, even if you were, you know, had a quick zoning question as a resident. I don't know that I think she just opened the book for show. I don't think she really needed to. But Denise, you will be sorely missed, not just for your knowledge, not just because of your work ethic, because of the person that you are. So from the city of Kirtland, we cannot thank you enough for all you've done. So with nothing more, come on up here. We're going to do a quick proclamation. And again, I don't know that the words can describe what Denise has meant to the city. So if you need my glasses, 10 years ago I wouldn't have. Proclamation from the city of Kirtland. Whereas we are here today to recognize Denise Raleigh and to honor her for her distinguished 45, almost 46 years of service to the city of Kirtland. And whereas Denise began her career at the city of Kirtland on April 1st, 1979, and rose to become both the city's zoning and council clerk. And whereas during her service in 6 different decades, Denise proved herself to be a valuable asset to the city of Kirtland, displaying a vast knowledge of the city's code of ordinances, city council resolutions, planning and zoning issues, as well as a rich knowledge of all matters related to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Whereas Denise has worked constantly for the betterment of the city of Kirtland, by assisting 6 administrations, 23 city councils, numerous zoning inspectors, developers, builders, and countless residents throughout her tenure. And whereas the city of Kirtland wishes to express its sincere appreciation to Denise for her dedication to the outstanding performance of her duties throughout her employment. And whereas this proclamation is presented to Denise to serve as a reminder that although she is retiring, she will always be remembered as a valuable employee that dedicated an esteemed career to her positions of employment and the greater Kirtland community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Kevin F. Potter, Mayor of the City of Kirtland, Lake County, Ohio, do hereby congratulate Denise Raleigh for her extensive dedication to the city, and I urge all of Kirtland's citizens to join with me in acknowledging her legacy, of dedicated service within the community.
No, no, no.
Thanks, Denise.
Thank you, Denise. Okay, we'll roll into the reading and approval of minutes. The February 18th, 2025 Finance Committee meeting. Looking for a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Smolik with the motion to approve, and Mr. Schultz with the second. Ms. Muscatella, please call the roll.
Mr. Smolik?
Yes.
Ms. Simons?
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler?
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mr. Hamer?
Yes.
Mr. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. Grazia? Yes.
Okay, on to the minutes of the February 18th, 2025 council meeting. Looking for a motion.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Mr. Schultz with the motion to adopt. Mrs. Simons with the second. Ms. Muscatella, call the roll.
Mr. Smolik?
Yes.
Ms. Simons?
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler?
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mr. Hamer?
Yes.
Mr. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. Grazia? Yes.
Okay, on to the department reports. Start with Chief Hutton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Formal report was sent out, I believe, yes, today, so you should all have that. Other than that, I'm open for any questions.
Any questions from Chief Hutton tonight? If not, we'll move on.
Good morning, or good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Are you going to give our report for the police
I
department?
have no formal report, but I am happily open for questions.
Happily open for questions. Do we have any questions? No questions. Thank you kindly. All right. Very good. Mr. Fernaro.
Good evening, everybody. We're going to be quick. I'd like to thank the crew for doing another great job with snow and ice. We are now up to 64 snow events, 35 last year. So I'm open for any questions.
I have to thank you, Mr. Fernaro, for being out all day yesterday to taking care of the pump there, and so our houses aren't all full of the bad stuff. Appreciate it.
Mr. Fenauer, any data on which the asphalt plants are opening?
No, we have snow coming in Wednesday through Saturday, so next week looks promising.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to Mr. Courtney.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. Start off with 2025 streets program. I believe the mayor shared the preliminary streets list and costs with everyone on council. Proposed work includes repair and resurfacing of entire streets, spot asphalt repairs on several streets, and then our crack seal and reclamite program. Once the streets list is finalized, we will finish off the 10-year street plan, again, based on what we anticipate being available funding moving forward. Kirtland Chardon Road, paving from the East Corp line to Sperry. The city was awarded $480,560 from NOACA's system for that project. We anticipate a kickoff meeting with ODOT sometime here in the next month. The estimated project cost for that work is $787,000. looking to design that project in '25 for bidding and construction in the first half of '26. No updates on the Wisner Wall. At this point, we have our design estimates completed, and we're awaiting passage of the budget before submitting the engineering costs to Lake County for funding. And then review the street standards. Per council's request at the last meeting, we've pulled that ordinance, and we're going to start going through it to see if it requires any updates. That's all I have. Happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Courtney, when do you think you'll have some feedback on the street standards?
How soon do you want them?
Kind of soon? You think we could have them by next meeting?
By next meeting? I can probably pull that off.
Okay.
Is there any, are any of the proposed updates being done simultaneously? Are we tackling them one at a time? Is it all the same organization taking care of them?
As far as the street standards?
As far as the estimates for 2025 for repairs and,
Oh, I'm sorry. I was still on the street standards. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
are any of them being done at like simultaneously, or is it one crew that's going to be doing them in any particular order?
At this point, we don't know. We're going to have a few different methods of repair and resurfacing. So it'll really depend on how bids come in. Who does what work.
Okay.
Might be one contractor that does it all. Might have a couple of contractors like we did in '23.
So these estimates are your estimates, not necessarily a company's estimate.
That's correct. Those are my estimates based on our.
I didn't understand that. Thank you for
Yeah,
clarifying.
okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Courtney this evening? I got two of these. If not, we'll move on to Mr. Slapnicker.
Thank you, Council President Fenstermaker. The January 2025 end-of-month reports were distributed to Council. February just ended, so we will look to get those reports out here soon. I know a couple requests at the last meeting were related to the costs of bond counsel. So I did send out an email this evening summarizing all of those costs. Any interest payments can be found on our debt summary worksheet. Also, I gave you a capital summary that I put together in September of 2023 and updated it for 2024. It's not entirely inclusive. It doesn't include some of our roads and things like that, but it does give you a good idea of where we've invested our dollars into capital. Finally, we had our second meeting related to the 2025 budget. I have distributed that to Council, the updated packet, and it is on the website currently. There will be a few changes as we discussed in our Finance Committee meeting, so you'll look for those here shortly as well. That concludes my report, and I'm open for questions.
Anybody have any additional questions for Mr. Slapnicker this evening? Okay, moving on to the mayor. Oh, sorry, no legal. Julia.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. No formal report for the senior center. However, I do have some dates to share as far as city events. Safety Town registration is now open, and it is up on the city recreation page. The registration as well as counselor applications is up there, and payment is due at the community center. The city Easter egg hunt will be held here at City Hall on April 12th. And the yard cleanup will be April 19th. So for any veterans or seniors that need assistance with the yard cleanup, they just need to contact the community center and we'll get them on our list.
I'm sorry, did you say April 19th?
April 19th, yes.
Okay, any other questions for Julia this evening? Okay. Thank you, Julia. Mayor?
Thanks, Council President Fenstermaker. Nothing too formal to report. Thank you to Ron and Council President and Council Pro Tem Smolik for a couple of quick discussions we were able to have related to the draft road program. Thank you, obviously, to Mr. Finaro, Mr. Courtney for preparing those and getting that data together so we could have that for you tonight. Look forward to a good Service Department Committee meeting. I think that'll be the topic. Roads will be the topic after this meeting. We'll run right into a Service Department Committee meeting. This year, there is no, in case any of you are asked, there's not going to be a Shamrock Shuffle 5K this year. My wife typically organizes and runs that, and with a kind of a hefty workload on some things going on for our family and her life professionally, I begged her to take a year off because she was really starting to stress about it. So the idea is that that'll be back next year. But just wanted you guys to know in case anybody did ask the question, because I've been asked a few times now. Other than that, I'm just open for questions.
Mayor, status update on the fiber contract? Is that
Yep.
been moving along?
We've got a member of our team here in the audience. I think at this moment we're waiting for the fiber company to kind of shoot back over what they envision an agreement could look like. So we're hoping to get that sometime soon. I'd love to think that we could get that up for legislation in April at some point.
Thank you. Hey, Joe, you can stop training for the Shamrock Shuffle now.
I had my heart set on winning it this year. 20 years ago, I'd smoke in that thing. Not today. My best time 17:55, but that's back when I was in shape, though.
It was excellent.
I know Mr. Smolik, Councilman Smolik was a runner at one time.
Was. Emphasis on was.
Mayor, anything else? Does anybody have any questions regarding the draft so far that's been presented to council?
Oh, the draft road program? I guess the one thing that I guess I would like to see how it compares to the road program relative to the ranking of the roads, or Mayor or perhaps Joe or Mr. Courtney can elaborate how the matrix in which what got these in front of us for 2025. Was it the PCR or it's something different now? The new system, PCI. If you can speak to that.
I would say PCI budget, how it fits and everything, what we wanted to get done from the full and partial depth repairs, kind of a allotted amount of money for that, and then kind of backed our way into what roads could fit into the rest of that budget, with a couple of different one's a paving Coldman Place, and then the other one is and we'll talk about this, but it's a hot in place recycling potentially. So we'll talk about that in the Service Department Committee meeting afterward.
Do you think that with the monies from NOACA, I mean, it's not being funded out of the general fund like these are, but shouldn't that be rolled into this plan? Or is there, what's the reason why it's not rolled into this plan?
Well, that's going to be 26 construction.
Oh, it's going to be.
Design is going to be this year and construct next year.
We do have, it was $80-some thousand in the general fund for design work in this current budget that's in front of you. And then the remaining matching portion would be in the 2026 budget.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Are there any other questions this evening? Okay. Moving on to standing committee reports. Just a reminder, we have the Service Department meeting after. Is any other committee reports?
We also want to get a Public Utilities Commission meeting going to finalize the rates, what will be rate increases for the 3 packaging plants for Monterey, Hickory, and the Rockwood Ledgewood plant. Mr. Finaro, you were going to be out the first week of April, I believe. So do we want to get this done in April, or do we want to try end of March, or how do we want to? Well, we're going to need to get the public notices out, correct?
Probably the middle part of April.
Pardon?
the middle of April.
Okay.
I'm not available April 17th through the 23rd.
Okay. We do need to get this together going in April, correct?
The week of the 11th, if everybody's available.
What was that?
The week of the 11th?
Week of the 11th? Mr. Festermaker? Or, Ron? Yeah, you're gonna probably be there too for council.
The week of the 11th is a Friday.
Mr. Hamer?
The 12th? The 12th would work.
That's Saturday,
We
4/12.
we do have that's the day of the Easter egg hunt. And what time is that at, Julia? Yeah. So if we do it that day, maybe a kind of a 12:30, 1 o'clock should do
April
us.
12th? I'm game for that.
Like 12:30, 1 o'clock.
So Saturday, April 12th, 12:30,
Public
what
Utilities
we-
Commission meeting.
12:30.
12:30. Saturday, April 12th, 12:30 in council chambers, I'm assuming? Here?
Correct.
You guys just make sure you get here early to help us clean up from the Easter egg hunt.
I'll bring my grandkids. They can do it.
And it would be important to note for that meeting is we are looking to set rates to be effective July 1st. And if you take a look at page 1 on the budget document and you look at funds 500, 501, and 502, you can see those fund balances, especially in Shenandoah, getting dangerously low. So just wanted to reiterate that we are looking to have the rate in place for July 1st billing cycle.
And April 12th is my birthday, so I expect you to come bearing gifts also, please. Good with that, Ms. Muscatella, then? Very good. And we got to get the public notices out. That has to be a week before, is it?
Please don't include the gifts.
I don't believe we have any set timetable of how long we need to get it out, but we have been trying to get it out about 2 weeks prior to the meeting.
And keep gifts under $50, please.
Is public notice to each and every affected unit? Or
Correct.
is it just a general?
Nope, it's just to each affected property tax or property owner that's within those
Which there
treatment
is
plans.
something, was there 120 total, Mr. Fernando? Something like that? What is their total on that? 79, 30? Okay.
So we'll have that all firmed up, though, to let them know what we're looking at for the rate increase and everything at that meeting.
Yes, and we've looked into some funding sources with WPCLF and Ohio or OPWC. The challenge with those is all of the funding for this year, the application process is the year before. So we'd be looking at making application to one of those organizations to borrow those dollars for the capital improvements. But we have to apply for that in 2025, and we won't get notice until 2026 if we're approved.
Okay.
And that does it with any other committees? I think that's it, correct?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So moving on to correspondence. I haven't received any correspondence. Good. Okay. On to public comments on matters not on the agenda. Okay. Moving on to old business. Ordinance number 25-0-11, an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of $4,500,000 of notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying costs of improving streets by reconstructing, resurfacing, grading, draining, paving, and making other improvements as designated in the plans approved or to be approved by council and declaring an emergency. Any discussion? Ordinance 25-0-12, an ordinance setting the appropriation for the year 2025. Any discussion? Resolution 25-R13, a resolution authorizing transfers of funds and declaring an emergency. Okay, moving on to new business. Public comments on agenda items of new business. Okay, moving on to resolution number 25-R-14. Resolution amending resolution number 25-R-7 relating to establishing the rules, time, and place of council meetings for the period from December 1, 2024 through November 30th, 2025, and declaring an emergency.
Looking to motion to waive the 3 readings?
So moved.
Mr. Smolik with a motion.
Oh, second.
Mrs. Simon, second.
Or actually looking as opposed to motion, sorry.
No, it's because I'm used to you calling for the motion, not being the motion. My bad.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Any discussion? If not, Ms. Muscatella, please call the roll.
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Ms. Simons,
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Scholes,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia. Yes.
I need another motion.
Motion to declare an emergency and adopt.
Second.
Mr. Schultz with the motion to declare an emergency and adopt. Mr. Smolik with the second. Any discussion? Ms. Muscatella, please call the roll.
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Ms. Simons.
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Scholes,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia.
Okay, moving on to council comments. Continuing concerns, last opportunity for the public to speak on any continuing concerns. Okay, looking for an adjournment?
Motion to adjourn?
Aye.
Favor?
Aye, aye.
Okay, give